right, let's talk about jumping to conclusions. This is another one of those unhelpful thinking styles we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. Those thinking patterns that get in your brain and kind of quietly and secretly mess up the way that you're viewing the world around you and mess up how you're interacting with the world around you. And we're trying to tackle those. We're trying to change those. We're trying to get in there, decrease your anxiety by getting rid of some of these unhelpful thinking styles. So we're talking about jumping to conclusions today. And this is the idea of how you create your beliefs and assumptions. And if you have beliefs and assumptions that are based on incomplete information, you don't have enough knowledge to know that something is correct or true, then you are jumping to conclusions. There's two kinds of jumping to conclusions. The first one is mind reading. Mind reading, jumping to conclusions, refers to when you think that you know what somebody else is thinking or what they're believing or what they're feeling, when you don't actually have that information. You can't read minds. I don't care how well you know somebody, you can't read minds. And that is a form of jumping to conclusions. And if you try to read people's minds based on whatever information you do or don't have, and you come to the wrong conclusion, that's going to impact you. It's going to impact your mood. That's going to impact your relationship with that person. So mind reading can look like, oh, that person looked at me weird. They must be thinking this about me, or they didn't answer my text very quickly. They must be mad at me. Those are the conclusions that you're jumping to that are faulty, and they're making you feel bad for no reason because they're based on inaccurate information or incomplete information. The second kind of jumping to conclusions is fortune telling. And this is when you, based again on these incomplete or faulty information, you believe that you know something that is going to be happening, what's going to be happening in the future. So you may be actually engaging in some of this right now. You may be doing some of the oh my gosh, the company is going to lay everybody off. We're not going to be able to do all of these things. All of these things are going to be changing. And some of that, we need to sort of try to predict, right? Like we need to kind of think what if these things happen? We need to be able to make decisions around that. So some of that is healthy. But when your brain starts going in there and saying, these are the things that are going to happen, but you don't actually know that those are going to happen, that is your brain playing tricks on you. That is jumping to conclusions. That is a thinking error, an unhelpful thinking pattern that really contributes a lot to anxiety. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Of course, if your brain is searching for the negative and it's searching for all of these, beliefs and assumptions and all of this stuff, because anxiety wants to say, oh, we know exactly how this is going to go down. Anxiety says, this person's mad at you, period. That's the truth. But it's not. You're jumping to conclusions. Your brain is jumping to conclusions. You got to reel that back in. You may not even notice it. You got to increase your awareness so you can kind of pull that back in. One of the major ways that jumping to conclusions messes with you is that it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So in addition to changing kind of how your mood is, or maybe making you feel worse or making you feel less confident, it's also going to change how you interact with what's going on around you or whatever it is you're jumping to conclusions about. So for example, if we were to say, oh, this person didn't text me back, they must be mad at me, and so the next time I see them, I'm just well, then that other person who may not have gotten the text, who may have forgotten, who may have texted you and it didn't go through, who may have been overwhelmed and couldn't do it at the moment, then that person is reading you and they're like, oh, they made a weird face at me. They must be mad at me. So now you've gone and based on your jumping to conclusions, you've gone and created the thing that you thought was there that actually wasn't there. Maybe that person wasn't mad at you at all, but by virtue of jumping to the conclusion and responding in that way, you've created a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've created the thing that you were afraid of happening. And this happens all the time. When you start increasing your awareness of how you might be jumping to conclusions or how your brain might be making assumptions based on faulty information, you're going to start to see how much that affects you, how much it affects your mood, and also how much it affects how you decide how you're going to interact with people around you. So keep your focus on that. Pay attention to that this week. See how that's showing up in your life and how you can challenge that if you find it. Catch me over at drkarenmcdowell.com if you want to hit me up for some of these live workshops I've got going on, which are super cool and so fun because I get to answer your questions in real time and have PowerPoint slides and have cool things and guests and all of the fun stuff. And so definitely you should check that out. We're doing pay what you can now on the live workshops to make sure that they're accessible for everyone. So again, drkarenmcdowell.com/live, or find me on Facebook, on Instagram, here on YouTube, and probably in other places on the internet that I don't even know about. So y'all take care, have an excellent day, and I'll see you in the next video.